Hey guys, thank you for joining us for another exciting episode of YOML. This is the Year of Magical Learning podcast. I think we're on Reflection 195. And this is like one of these installment that is randomly sparsed into the
Yep.
list. So this is installment 3 of 5 of the book, The Black Swan. So and then I like this book, so I think this will be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, so it'll be a fun one. Black Swan, we've touched on this. This is the third one of the 3-part of the 5-part reflection. The uh, uh, the Black Swan, just to catch people up, is about highly improbable events, and they're random events that shape our lives, basically, and the huge impact that Black Swan events play in our world, and that we don't know it a lot of times, and we go about our life not understanding that these are such pivotal moments, and then they happen and they change everything. So that's what a Black Swan event is, and the book was great. True and I both love it. It's probably one of our both top 5 favorites, I would say. Yeah, learned a ton from it. So we write multiple reflections about it. Moving to the sharing my screen here. So this reflection is about 1,001 days in the life of a turkey. Before we start, actually, I just saw this as I was pulling this up. We're on book or reflection 195 or whatever, or podcast 195. And I was like, holy shit, we've done 195 of these. I mean, I don't, that kind of caught me off guard. I don't know why. For some reason, I thought we were still like in the low 100s or something like that. It's kind of impressive. We're chugging along here pretty rapidly.
Yeah, the thing is, the only thing I kind of see is, the pace of the books that we read is going to be the slow moving part of this journey, because we had this whole I guess head start on the
Yeah.
books we read, and then we can talk about almost on a weekday, on a daily basis, on a weekday. But eventually, these are going to catch up, and to
Oh, yeah.
me.
Oh yeah. No, I've already caught up to myself with the writing portion of it. I've only written one reflection this week, and I got to write one tomorrow morning. But like I'm usually only doing like 2 a week now, just because like that's how many books I finish a week. So ish, like two to three.
I mean, I guess when we get there, we're gonna have to do one podcast a week.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see.
But it's making progress, and it's catching up slowly and surprisingly. Sometimes we just forget that how long we have been doing this and how far we have gone.
Yeah, I was, no joke, right before I did this, because I really was surprised that we were on 195, and I went back and I was looking at our YouTube channel, like man, we're at 195, and I was flipping through the videos, and then I got to like when I still had my beard, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, that beard was awesome. I need to grow that thing back.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was, yeah, I miss my beard. All right, so moving on to the reflection. So what is what is the turkey problem, and as per the Black Swan? So for the first 1,000 days in the turkey's life, the farmer's the good guy. In fact, he may be the best guy in the world, because every time the turkey sees him, every time the turkey sees the farmer means he's about to get fed. Unfortunately for the turkey, on the 1,001st day, the farmers come to begin the Thanksgiving celebration preparations. The 1,001st day is the Black Swan event for the turkey, because it was completely changes how to view the first 1,000 days in general, overall, right? So for me, I was a 1,001st day turkey on March 15th, 2020. On March 14th, my wife and I, life was going on according to plan. We'd met in college. We had good jobs. We got married. We traveled the world. We bought a house. Had our cars paid off. Whatever. All the normal stuff. That you think of. We had our education. Like our careers are progressing. And we were ready to start a family, so we did. And we got lucky to be pregnant, expecting our first child. And she was, I guess, 6 months into the pregnancy, or actually like 5 months in, something like a little over 5 months into the pregnancy. And you know, we had just had a freaking ultrasound the 2 days before. Everything was fine, like, you know, perfectly normal, like nothing going on. We actually had a trip coming up to Hawaii that we were supposed to go on to, and you know, we went into that weekend just normal life, right? Like and then that Friday, on Friday the March 13th, that was the last day that like before the world shut down with coronavirus. Basically, that was the last day that we were in the office at my company that I worked at, because I remember getting that email, you know, on Friday saying, hey, we're gonna go ahead and close the offices for now, and we don't know when we'll reopen. And then on that Sunday, March 15th, Amelia was born. So and she was born almost 4 months premature and weighing 1 pound and 1 ounce, like, and completely, you know, as we've talked about on this journey, completely blew up my world, right? Like that was the 1,000 of first day turkey. I was not expecting this to happen. Like everything else leading up to that, like why would this happen, you know? So unfortunately for us, like I wasn't fully the 1,000 of first day turkey yet. You know, I was maybe, you know, I was pulled out of the line at the turkey day to, like, you know, maybe possibly get thrown into the Thanksgiving you know, celebration preparations, but I didn't know if my fate was yet. And then on April 22nd, that's when Amelia passed away, and we learned, you know, that really is, everything changed, right? So that was our Black Swan event that changed the whole entire trajectory of my life. So, you know, the biggest thing that I realized, you know, being the 1,000 and first day turkey is you know, the past really doesn't matter at all, and the future doesn't really matter at all. You know, it's really all about, like, you know, what there is on this particular day. And that was the biggest lesson that I've learned on this entire journey. You know, as we've talked about, like the atomic bomb, I call my Black Swan event an atomic bomb event, you know, where it just kind of wiped everything out. And I like to visualize it as a city just smoldering, rubble in the ashes. And while, you know, while definitely destroyed my world, like I did find a question in that smoldering rubble of, if everything's irrelevant, this is going to happen at some point in time. Like, what do you do with your life, you know? And for me, like the answer that we've discovered on this journey together is focus on your values and try your best to live your whatever you can, the best life you possibly can every single day, because honestly, you have no idea what's going to happen, you know, tomorrow. And like I said, the past is irrelevant at that point in time, and the future is, who the fuck knows what's going to happen, right? So that's how you overcome the 1,000-day turkey problem, you know, in my personal opinion, is like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen to everybody. It's going to, you know, no matter what happens in your life, like we just don't understand, like, and we don't understand what's coming, and we'll never will. So make sure you maximize the time today. And that's my biggest lesson. So yeah, anyway, love to hear your thoughts.
I mean, I think this is a great affirmation to what I said before, you know, you don't have a future.
Yeah.
The past is useless. The only thing you have is the present. So that means, right? That's why for me is, you know, I talk about this in previous podcasts where I understand there is the importance of dopamine, the molecule of more, but that's only a transitory molecule to get you to a point where you are truly alive in the present. And that's the only thing you have. The future, like I said before, life could leave you at any moment. We wake up tomorrow, right? So what's to say, you know, let's say somebody has a heart attack. What's to tell them, hey, I'm going to have a heart attack? What sign to give them I'm going to have a heart attack? They just have a heart attack, and right? Because that's the thing, is they don't know. And I think the Black Swan, in the terms of the 1,001 day turkey, we think it's a rare event, but it's not.
Day.
It's not.
Yeah, it happens to everybody.
Happens to everybody. It is only a rare event in the context of the timeline of you. Like my timeline, like blah blah blah. Right? I did the same thing for the past whatever, you know, last year I did the same thing. It is my timeline, and then suddenly something happens to me, right? In the context of my own timeline, that is a Black Swan event. Right. But if you're looking at all timelines altogether, the Black Swan event happens all day and every day, at every moment, every second. to some timeline, to somebody, right? To
Yep.
this turkey or to that turkey or to that pig or to whatever, right? So it is to remind ourselves that, you know, whatever happens in the past does not have to repeat itself. It does not have to. And that has been proven over and over again. You cannot take something and extrapolate to the future and say, hey, you know, in the future I'll be at this location, at this place. Because you look at, like, let's say I heat up a pot of water, right? And I put a temperature in it, and I put a certain amount of heat to the pot. And every 5 minutes it goes 1 degree. Every 5 minutes it goes another degree. So you can say, hey, every 5 minutes go, you know, up this degree. So what happens in, you know, 1,000 minutes? What kind what degree would it be once this is at 1,000 minutes,
I don't
right?
know.
It's 100 degree. It
Right.
cannot go above 100 because that's the property of water,
Right.
right? But if you start the water at like maybe 60 degree at room temperature, or 70 degree, whatever where you are at, right? And you stay high from, you know, 60, 1 minute later it's 61, minute it's 62. So 2 minutes is 62, so forth, so on. And so I asked you the question is, if we continue to heat this in the same exact same pattern, the same way for the next 1,000 minutes, what would be the temperature of this water?
I mean,
And
you would assume you'd recognize the
you
pattern, and you would say, well, it's gonna go be whatever, that plus another 1,000,
yeah, but the thing is, in reality, we knew that water, right? If you didn't know, water boil at 100 degree. At 100
right.
degree, it's no longer water; it's disappears. So you can't really take the temperature. So the temperature is always going to be 100 degree,
No, no,
right?
yeah, I totally understand. I mean,
So
you're
so that means that you cannot predict the
what
future.
it's
No
what
one
you
can.
see, what you see is all there is, right? It's the thinking fast and slow, like that, like we can't see what we can't see, and we can't see that we can't know that it only goes to 100 until we know it, right?
Exactly.
And
I mean, that's the
and
thing is, when you don't see it, you don't consider it. Just like when we see like the iceberg, right? We only see the top. Therefore, we say, hey, that iceberg is only this big, right? Because whatever we don't see, we don't account for it. We're just like, hey, it's not there, right? And so that's the reality in our head. But the world reality is that there is much, much more things that we don't know. That is the submerged ice of the iceberg, and all
right.
the things that we have gone through in life. We encounter the same phenomenon, which is we only see the tip of anything that we do, right?
Yeah.
Because people, like, let's say, I mean, let's take something as mundane as project. Like, hey, I need to build this project, right? Oh, how long is it gonna take you to build this thing? It's gonna take me 3 months. It's actually gonna take you like a year, right?
Oh
Or
yeah.
2 years, just because you didn't see what you didn't see. Therefore, you didn't account for how long that those things are gonna take. So you look at all the projects. You can go ask Google. You can go ask Apple. You can go ask um, Microsoft, right? All of them has always late on their projects. I mean,
Yeah.
even these guys are like, that's what they do. I mean, this is what they
Again,
do for a
fast
living.
and slow, right? It's the planning fallacy. It's the nobody plans ever right. Like you're never going to plan right. Like I mean, you
So,
can't
so
budget, you
this is
can't
this is go
plan,
back to the concept we want to kind of elucidate today. Is when you say 1,001 day turkey, it's like your future is uncertain. So if it's uncertain, why are you trying so hard
what do you do?
to
Yeah.
to 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 plan for his future that may never come? And most of the time, probability wise, it's like very, very unlikely that it will come the way that you had planned it.
I it's hard for me to not think about some of my former colleagues at Salesforce today in particular, because like I don't know if you've been noticing what's going on, and like I know what's going on in the tech world, but like everybody's like laying off everybody right now, right? And like this happened to me in 2008 when I was still, or 2009 when I was still really young. I was in my first job out of school. I've been working there for like 2.5 years. The economy just melted down. Obviously, we all know about like the, the Great Recession that happened back then. Blah 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 blah. I learned my 1,001st day turkey lesson, as an employee. That the whole, I was watching people that had been there for 32 years, 35 years, 40 years. Some of these employees that had spent their entire careers and they were in the most senior level positions in the organization get walked out of the building, and I mean, they can't control it. Like, I mean, this was truly a family organization. They were, the name of the guy that started it was still on the building and his son still ran it. Like, I mean, it was a family organization, but like, even then, like, they couldn't stop that. Right. And I learned my lesson that right then and there, like, this is not your family. This is like, that's not how this world is ever going to work. And I learned my 1,001st day turkey lesson of the business world a long, long time ago. Fast forward to today, the technology space, they've had a good run of like, I don't know, what, 15, 20 years probably since people, like, it's only been on an upward trajectory where they think that's all that was going to happen. And now every single place in Silicon Valley and San Francisco and, New York and wherever, Austin, these tech hubs and places like that where people have flocked to, where they're making great money and they all think, they're doing really good work. They're making their president's clubs. They're doing whatever they need to do. Like, and then all of a sudden, like, they get an email today saying they're fired, and then now what I didn't have back then was LinkedIn. It wasn't the same kind of LinkedIn back then. Now, like, you see nothing but my timelines are just being flooded by people of like, I don't even know how to describe some of these like, I mean, I feel bad for them, and I know that they're just kind of putting themselves out there, letting the world know, like, hey, I just got laid off. But at this point in time, it's almost just like it's kind of like a badge of honor right now. Like, everybody's getting laid off all over the place. It's like, well, I got laid off. Like, here's how I feel about this. Here's my thoughts. Like, and I'm sharing it with the world. But like, the truth is they saw themselves working at that company. Everybody that was still there, that was their 1,001st day turkey. A lot of them were so surprised when they got their email this morning. Literally, they didn't expect it. Some of them have been there for 10, 12, 15 years or something like that. They're in senior level positions, and they're like, I can't believe I just got let go. Like, this is crazy.
I mean, that's the thing, is they think that it will irreplaceable, right?
Right.
And the same thing with the turkey is because the farmer keep feeding you. You think this is the trend. This is the way things are, right? And you
It's
never
it's a big family.
Yeah, you don't think about the I guess you don't think about the Black Swan event. But the thing is, you think a Black Swan event is like so rare that it only happens to like once in like 1,000 years, something like that.
Right.
No, it doesn't. It happens to you in your
Every day.
timeline, guarantee.
Yeah, and it happens to somebody every day. Like, I mean, that's somebody's, spouse is dying, daughter's dying, you are dying, getting fired from a job, like getting diagnosed with cancer, whatever. I mean, we could go on and on and on, getting their arm chopped off or something like that. Now they can't, ever, do XYZ ever again, falling out of a tree while they're, trying to cut a branch. Like, I mean, like, I don't know, like, there's a million different crazy ass shit. Just go Google Florida man, and I'm sure you'll find, a Black Swan, 5,000 Black Swan events. Have you ever Googled Florida man before?
No.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, here, I got it. I'll do it right now. Hang on. You're supposed to Google Florida man in your birthday.
Says who?
Like, it'll say Florida man named Redbeard steals $1,800 parrot, authorities say. Florida man who carried alligator into liquor store doesn't. Florida man is sentenced to 10 years in prison for his. Oh, strange wise death. That one's a boring one. Hardcore blogger interrupted. Anyway, it's just, next time you got some free time, just Google Florida man and your birthday, and then like the headlines that come up, it's like a Florida man does steals alligator from golf course, tries teaching like these are it's hilarious. Like I was going to say a Florida man event is a Black Swan event a lot of times as well. Where you're
Right,
like,
right.
what?
Yeah.
Like,
It happens every day.
right? Yeah.
But that's the thing is that the principle of this concept that we want to kind of remind everybody is, nothing is immune to the atomic bomb that you see that happens to other people. So when you work for somebody, you have to understand, is it what you want? Because if you don't, at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be like, hey, I spend my whole life here. I spent 50 years working. They're not gonna fire me. There's loyalty. There's things I know that they're gonna
Nope.
need me for. No, that's not. So that means that the time that you have is the only thing that means anything.
Yeah.
And then to do the things that you don't want to do, you are wasting it. And time to me is the most precious resources anyone can have. And time is not replenishable. If it's
So
not,
like,
you lose money, you make it back. You lose land, you take it back. But if you lose time, it is gone forever. And so that means that time is be well spent. Whatever well spent means to you, that is what you should focus on. So with company, this is what we are trying to advocate is, you have to understand who you are first and then do the things that aligns with who you are. And that to me is the most time well spent for you.
yeah. It's the only thing you can do. I mean, it's really the only thing you can do is like is at the end of that day, and when your head hits the pillow at night, do you say like, yeah, I did everything I could today to have a really good to have the day that I wanted to have today? Like that doesn't matter. My boss yesterday, he had a rough board meeting with he got just kind of torn apart about a lot of stuff just because like it is the nature of business, right? Like I mean everybody's and feels like they're in a bad spot and whatever, like this is life, and he was talking to me about it, kind of just sharing some details of it, and I told him like, and I was like, I shared this story. Actually, I sent him this blog today as I was reading this morning because I was preparing for our meeting today, and I sent him
Mm-hmm.
this, and I was like, like we just referring back to what I was talking to you last night. I was like, look, things change tomorrow, right? Like, I mean, I think you're doing a great job. I think I have an amazing boss. He lets me live my values every single day, and I let my team live, and I'm trying to promote that with them. As a matter of fact, I'm here in New York to take tomorrow we're having their 4-month presentation of their values day. So
Oh,
that's
really?
yeah. So
Okay.
we're tomorrow all day long they're going to be presenting who they are officially to the team, and I'm going to let them take over their first things first time now going forward, and I'm excited to do all this stuff. Like I don't really care about like did they hit their goals last month? Yeah, they did, but like if they didn't, I wouldn't care either way. Like I'm still going to continue forward to help trying to encourage them to do exactly the stuff that you and I are talking about doing every single day, because I know that that's what matters to me and that's what matters to them. It's what matters to everybody, is to try to be yourself as much as you can and as much as every single day. I could force them to not be themselves, and I could tell them this is about loyalty and this is about family, this is about doing what you can for the business, this is about blah 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 blah, and that's all bullshit. Like I mean, like at the end of the day, I mean it's total bullshit. Like I might believe it, but you're just a turkey that's getting groomed to slaughter, like but that doesn't mean that you can't all work together and collaborate together. It just means go at it in a different way where we try our best to be our best of what that means for us every day. And if tomorrow that opportunity gets taken away from us of whatever we were doing that under, like that's fine. I can go do what I'm doing right now or some other thing because I know what I want to do. Like, like I don't really care. Like it's not catastrophic for me anymore when that happens. The only thing that will truly ever be the final day, is when I don't, and I don't even know what comes after this, but like, as long as I have the opportunity to act, I'm going to try my best to live the life that I want to live every single day. And that's it. Like, that's the only thing that I can focus on and care about. And that's, if you're a smart turkey, that's what you should do.
Right. I mean, the thing is, you think about like the people who work on themselves, right? Because let's say you are a particular person, like a diver, and you love to go diving, right? So the only thing that doing the things that you love to do, the only thing that makes you more capable. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. Right. The thing is, you look at, let's say you love to go diving in the sea, right? And you dive and you dive, you become better diver than anyone because it makes you more capable of being that person with that particular skill set. And then when somebody needs somebody who is lost or rescuing, right? Who is the best person to find you? So these becomes the top of the game of their field. So you look at, it reminds me of the Marines, right? And the Marine, it's like, are we talking about the mission? Are we going to train on the certain mission, how to go to a certain place and do a certain thing? No, they work on themselves. They will say, hey, be impeccable with your words, with your actions, with your presentations. When they do that, every single Marine, any Marine that you have seen that have been through like 10 years in Marine, they are all capable. All capable. I don't care who they are. They could be like an uneducated high school dropout. Once they reach the Marine, they have become very capable. And if you ask them to do some project, right, those capabilities is gonna what makes them succeed in the project that you do. So when you are trying to,
Regardless of the forum, by the way, like,
what's
like
that?
I said, regardless of the forum as well, like,
Yeah,
like it translates into all areas of your life. Like, you can be yourself. It doesn't have to be just be in a particular environment. That yourself can translate into different environments.
right.
Like, yeah,
It's the adaptability of human mind, right? So whatever that you are good at, right? So you and I can be good at being like, don't run for train, right? You can't really make me run for train, right? So even if I'm in a space where, you know, the
you're at a
board or
train
whatever
station.
is it chew me out, I say, okay. I mean, it doesn't affect me. And I said, you know, okay, this thing happens. What do you want me to do about it? So,
Right.
it doesn't eat at me at the core. I'm not stressed out even if somebody chews me out, right? You think about it, that make me more capable. And if I'm not stressed out by being chewed out, so whatever effort that I focus on, it's going to be better than if I had been stressed out. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah, of
Right.
course.
So that's the thing, is it make me more capable than anyone else in the same situation. So
Right.
you're looking at like when you are giving your team members the space to do first things first, right? They are
Our
going
our
to be
our
our team, right? So they are going to be more capable human beings, and when that happens, you have a formidable team to do whatever it is you want to do, whether it's sales or doing whatever project that they come now. Like you and I both say, it's not the business doesn't matter. It's not the business, right? It's the person
right.
that you work with. It's a team that you have created. There's the connections you build. That
Yeah.
what matters. Because then if you think about, right, the project is, you do something and you're done, right? And you move on to the next project, next project, next project. We talk about Max Yoder, right? He sold the company. And so the thing is, they have the same team. All you have to do is, hey, the team is a fully functional and
Right.
cohesive and efficient team. All you have to do is throw them another project, throw them
Yeah.
a mission. And the chance of them becoming successful, it is so high because
Yeah.
the biggest obstacle has been solved, which is team building
Right.
and the
Shared
collaboration and
values,
alignment
shared
of the
mission.
values.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
And so
Right.
so so to
100%.
me, I look at that. And so go back to why we saying the 1001 days turkey is, yes, you don't know what tomorrow will bring. So be yourself, and be yourself has multiple benefits to both, like you being enjoyable in the thing that you do, but also not regretting and wasting time on things that you hated to do. And at
Yeah.
the same time, you're going to be better at doing anything that comes to you.
Right. And be around people that want to do the same stuff that you like to do as well. Like, there's no downside to understanding yourself and trying to do that on purpose, and trying to do actions that relate to who you want to be every single day. Like, I mean, there just is no downside to it. Like, somebody could say it's selfish, and you could say, what do you want me to do? I mean, you want me to go selflessly give myself, you know, to
I mean,
Salesforce, and,
if you
you
tell me
know,
I'm selfish and I say so,
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean,
what
so what?
do you
Like,
want
you
me
know,
to
yeah, I
do?
mean, I can't control anything else but what goes on in my own head, right? Like, you
You do
know,
whatever you want. It's your prerogative. You can sacrifice yourself for the I don't know, for the plants, for the bees. I don't care, for the
right?
turtles, for the whales. I don't care what you want me to do about it. Right?
Exactly.
I
I
mean,
mean,
I have the right to survive, the right to be, exist as everybody else. So why are you trying to tell me to give up what I'm supposed to be, and hey, belong to this whatever, the workforce or the club or society that it doesn't resonate with me. What's the point? What's the
there is
point of
no point,
what's the point of
because
all
they will
that?
strip, because it'll get that, because that will get, that identity will get stripped from you. Like, there's not a doubt, but eventually, no matter what, eventually it'll get stripped from me. Even Mark Benioff, you know, the CEO of like Salesforce, it'll get stripped of him someday. He will no longer be the CEO of Salesforce. He'll just be a dude that started Salesforce, you know, that'll be like, you know, the past is the past. It's just a label at that point in time. He's the former CEO of Salesforce. Now he, you know, is a granddad or whatever, you know.
Everybody will be forgotten. Okay,
Right. And
no
yeah,
one will remember your name. I mean, the thing is, you think that people will remember your name, but name me one person that have lived 1,000 years ago, right? That you have any kind of real like understanding and understand that person,
I mean,
right?
Jesus.
I say understanding him as a person.
Oh, I mean, I don't know him as a
I
person.
mean,
I,
you don't know him. You
right.
just hear people tell
Stories. Yeah.
you about his teaching,
Right.
but you don't. There's no connection to that person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, it's no, I agree. Like, I mean, I don't. I mean, well, I don't know. There's, you can carry connections across time and space, but that's a discussion for another day. But no, I mean, I guess just my final thought on the 1,001st day turkey problem is, um, I don't know. I just like, I feel like there's so much pressure in life. At least I felt this way before, to like, to follow some plan. Like, you know, there's, this is the plan. Like, this is the blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to have a
Mm-hmm.
successful life. Here's the blueprint. There is no fucking blueprint. Like
That's
that
a
is
fallacy. That's a
right.
fallacy that we all hold as a standard, because this is what I've been taught as well. Everyone tells me, hey, you have to plan for the future, you have to do this, you have to do that. But
No,
the
I
thing
know.
is, it's the only thing that brings you is anxiety.
Yeah.
That's all it does. It brings you anxiety. Okay, what if this happened? What if that happened? What if this doesn't work? Do it. What if it didn't become? All you're doing is torturing yourself mentally. You're torturing yourself. You have a mental stress. That's what gives you. And so
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not to say that you don't want to work. You don't want to be prudent and plan for the future, but not to dwell on it. So the only way not to dwell on it is to be comfortable doing whatever you're doing. Because if you are doing something that you don't want to do, you're always looking for the end of that. Like when you're carrying something heavy on your shoulder, you are yearning for the
Oh yeah.
time and day to put it down.
True.
When you are doing something that, hey, when you're in a bind, whether you're at work, whether in a relationship or whatever, you are wishing for a day this is to end. So to me, that's only going to brings you mental stress. But if you do the things that make you happy and feel at ease and at peace and had not be like in a way zoned out, right? You think about, if you're able to zone out, means you're not worrying about a lot of stuff. If you are always focused on something, whether something fictitious as say the future, right? Your future is fictitious because it's not there. It's not
Right.
it's not real. It's not reality. And
Right.
so if you keep doing that, then more likely you're gonna stress yourself out, and more likely that the whatever you plan out won't come true, because nothing supports you. The universe doesn't support you. The omen, right? You're not looking out for the omen that tells you this and that and whatever. Because then if you think about, if I'm a beaver and I love being in the water, it's because the other faculties that I have a waterproof pelt, I have a big, tail, it's flat, and I can just, paddle with it, and I can swim all day long, and I have the teeth that, you know, I can I can just chop down the wood with my teeth without having, you know, and even if it gets dull, it gets sharper, it grows back. And so these are the support that I have, my faculty that supports me in
Right.
doing what I do, like that makes me who I am and makes me feel like this is the right, you know, the right feeling. Just like when we're talking about, you know, following the light in his footstep, right? You know you're on the right track
Right.
because that's the only thing that you know. And the present is the only thing that you have. So why are you stressing out for the future that may never come? And most time it doesn't come. Because the thing is, the further out, the probability for it to happen is like tremendously goes to zero. I mean,
Oh
you
yeah.
can
I
probably
mean,
plan for tomorrow, but like I say, I may not even wake up tomorrow. So how would that work? Yeah, I may wake up tomorrow, but let's say per month from now, a year from now, whatever I plan out, more likely it's not going to happen. Things going to change in an instant. A Black Swan event can happen, and it completely like blow you off of whatever path that you're on.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like it's gonna happen. Like, is the point. So, like, you know, and I'm not saying that to like scare anybody. It's just gonna happen. Like, so make sure that you enjoy what you're doing right now. Like, because like you said, time is what matters, right? Like,
Yeah,
so
don't eat the frog.
right.
This is why we keep saying don't eat the frog, because the thing is,
It
I'm eating the
sucks.
frog in hope that someday, right, I'm getting my reward.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. Most of the time, you will be sorely disappointed. The thing is the survivorship bias is what people look at. They're like we talking about like people on YouTube or on TikTok like do some awesome trick shot, whatever they with the water bottle or with the water cap or whatever they do, right? They have done that 1,000 times with 999 failures and one that actually made it by random chance, back event. That's when they show. And
Right.
people think this is the way it's supposed to be. But like I say, I ask you, give me one child that has ever just got up and walked without falling down like 100 times before I can walk. Show me one child.
Well, I can tell you, I cannot show you that child in my household, at least. But no, I mean, I'm sure it's never happened. But no, I think that's a great point. Well, awesome. Well, I feel like that's a good place to put a pin on this one. If you feel
I mean, like
heard.
I said, you know, if you're curious, you can always come, you know, join us and or you know, put in the comments, say, hey, you know, explain this or explain that, or whatever, and we'll be
Yeah,
happy to do it. So
of course. Yeah. I mean, we're you know, this is what we love talking about. So this is us exploring our own stuff that we like and forming our own, you know, mental paradigms to view the world, right? So yeah, I mean, challenge away. That's one of our core values, is challenge. So challenge us. Well, thanks for joining as always. And the question we can leave for everybody is how are you living your 1,000 days? I don't know. For me, it's focus on each day. Just focus on your
yeah,
value. Yeah.
follow the linus track, you know, and whether you feel is right or not, and you will know. That's the only thing that you have at your disposal.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay,
Awesome. All right. Well, have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you on Monday.
we'll see you Monday.